name of the column is "Put Your Money Where Your Knee Is," and the column is that because of the social justice protests, all right, because of them, the National Football League is going to lose billions of dollars. And the way they're going to lose it, and you mark my words, you can use this clip on ESPN, is the merchandising is going to be down 50 to 75%. And you know how much money these teams make on the hats, jackets, and shirts. Okay? The television ratings are going to be down, but that doesn't impact on the club's bottom line. They're already paid. Those contracts are already sold. The networks are going to take a hit. All right? Just like the NBA ratings are terrible. I mean,
they're not terrible. That's not true.
No. You're having playoff games less than 2 million people watching. You have playoff games that are less than 2 million people are watching.
I will double check that because our NBA ratings are pretty damn good. I want to tell you that. We're doing pretty good.
You look, I've been charting it. Occasionally a game will pop up to 4 million, but most are below 2 million. You're in MSNBC category, and you don't want to be there if you're the NBA. You don't want to be doing the same ratings MSNBC is doing. That is not an economic blueprint. So what I'm telling you is, that the league is going to suffer financially, and you know these greedhead owners, that's going to kill them to lose that money.
Well, you're right about the greed of the owners because you have to remember they had projected that Colin Kaepernick on an NFL roster a few years back, if he had appeared on an NFL roster, it would have cost them about 20% of the gate. And this is them complaining about that in spite of receiving $226 million per owner from their television rights alone. And so you're absolutely right. They're going to penny pinch. They're going to count every dollar and every penny. And if they're losing any money, there definitely are going to be repercussions. Make no mistake about it, because what they're going to say to the players is that if we're losing money, we're going to ensure that you lose money. You want to call yourself a partnership, just like you share in the profits, you're going to share in the losses as well. That's what the NBA is going to have to deal with because of this pandemic. So you do have a point in that regard. My only retort to all of that would be this. America is about 60% white at this particular moment in time, if I remember correctly. 14% African American, and then obviously about 17 to 18% Hispanics. So when you say lose money, one would assume that's primarily because of white folks being turned off and therefore won't support the product.
But if you have the minority, there's a Hispanic component to this as well.
Okay, you think, but what I'm saying to you is that it's possible that you might be wrong about the Hispanic and the black populace. And if you are wrong, then the losses may not be what you think they may be. We'll have to see.
You mark my words. And then what's going to happen, and the players don't know this, but you can tell them, once the revenue declines drastically in the merchandise, the salaries are going to follow down. We have reached the apex of National Football League salaries right now. From now on, they're going down, just like the Hollywood salaries are going down, just like the television news salaries are going down, because when you alienate millions of consumers, and that's what's happening here, and it's not about social justice. I believe that most Americans are appalled by police killing George Floyd. That 85% of us are saying we can't have this in this country. But it's the way you go about it. You can't say, okay, George Floyd is murdered and the United States of America is an evil nation. Once you get into that, then you lose.
But there is a middle road. So here's where I would say to you, you have a point. And I don't disagree with you if you're just leaning strictly on that point. But my response to that, Bill O'Reilly, would be this. You have to remember that in a lot of folks' mind, particularly coming from the African American community, protest equals progress. I didn't say rioting. I didn't say looting. I said protesting. Protesting equals progress, because what you want to do, every effort that you make is in an effort to bring attention to the level of insidious behavior that's been existing in our country. So if white folks stand up, the Bill O'Reillys of the world, and those who may be a little bit younger than you, and those who may be a little bit younger than me, and they stand up and they say, excuse me, we hear you, we see this, we recognize it, and we're hell-bent on making sure that this kind of behavior doesn't necessarily continue, then guess what? Neither will the protest. Neither will the strife. Neither will the friction. And it works hand in hand. When we talk about America, that's what America should be about. We should be coming together in that regard.
Your vision is correct if everybody is of goodwill, and everybody is not.
What about most?
So
what about most?
There are racists in the Caucasian community, who want blacks to be oppressed. There are not many of them. There are not many of them. But the Black Lives Matter Global Foundation are Marxists. They're using this, to try to overthrow the entire system. And the three women who founded that admit it. So they're not, it's not all of goodwill. Last word.
That's true. It's not all goodwill. But we do, I think you and I share this belief that for the most part, America is good. And the people in this country are good. Most people are not bad. Most people are good. So if most are good and the numbers are on our side, why can't we squash those who are not good, particularly if they're considerably smaller in number? It takes a joint effort on the part of us, but it also comes with recognizing the need to point out the iniquities of those and coming together regardless of race and
ethnicity. That's an excellent
and
point.
Saying, excuse me, that enough is enough and we will squash you. America is better than that. It's bigger than that. That's why I believe in this country. I'm on the air right now with Bill O'Reilly, man. We agree for the most part with everything that we're talking about.
And you made an excellent point.
So if we can agree, think about that. That's
you made an excellent point that people of goodwill can come together, and they can make it clear to the powers that be, the 80,000 law enforcement agents, 90% of whom are good people, that you guys have to police yourselves. You guys got to clean this up. But a lot of these protests have been hijacked by the violent people who hate America. That has to be acknowledged.
Bill O'Reilly is back on TV and only on The First. No Spin News, every weeknight at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on The First.